Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 10th. Currently looking at the US-Japanese yen pair. This particular pair gapped up, closed lower today, is moving sideways overall, biased to the downside. Look for this pair to continue moving to the downside over this next session. I'm looking for this pair to potentially move as high as 98.34. Possibly as low as 96.25. Look for some resistance around 97.78 and look for some support around 96.90. Now, switching over to the Euro-USD pair. This pair closed down today for the past several bars for the fifth day in a row. Definitely getting back into some areas where the market moves sideways. Currently, biased is to the downside. However, look for this pair to possibly go as high as 143.05, possibly as low as 140.17. Look for some resistance around 141.81 and look for some support around 141.100. Now, switching to the pound US dollar pair. This particular pair closed lower today. Again, closed pretty much at some previous resistance points, bringing it back into the range where we were moving sideways prior to this breakout and move to the upside. Look for this pair to potentially move as high as 168.28, possibly as low as 163.18. Look for some resistance around 165.86, possibly some support around 164.30. Now, switching to the US Swiss. This pair is moving higher, closed higher today. Look for it to potentially go as high as 1.0956, possibly as low as 10728. Look for some resistance around 10875 and look for some support around 10796 in this pair. Now, what am I looking for? There's really no news announcements going on for tomorrow's session. What am I looking for? Well, let's take a look at the this U.S. Swiss over the past couple of sessions or several, a month and a half. This pair has moved lower, then moved higher, moved lower, then higher, moved lower, then moved higher, moved lower, and it's moved higher again. Now, where do you think a good place to look for a reversal to move lower again would be? Well, if you draw your trend line, a good place for a reversal to occur, at least during this next session, would be around the 1.0905 area. So at that point, you could look for this pair to reverse. If it does move that high, you could very easily place a horizontal line 1 pip above this session's high right here. And look for this pair to move lower. Now, if you did that, you're around the 30 pip mark. Doesn't give it a whole lot of room to move, but if you tag this area and look to go short, look for this pair to pull down again as it's done over the past several sessions, over a good while actually. You can kind of see the pattern. Don't know if this pattern will continue. However, if it does, we could easily tag this point. We could use a stop loss about 30 pips up and look for it to come back down. Where would I look for it to come back down to? This level first, around the 1.0765 level, and then down to this level around the 1.0675, and lastly down around this level. So we have a large drop that is possible. I mean, just from this point to this point would be several, definitely over 100 pips, and the stop loss being at 30. The risk to reward is really good on this particular trade. Don't know if this will occur. Like I said, it could very easily hit this point and continue on higher, but I think the odds are in our favor that we'll get a reversal on this pair over the next session or two. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.